What about it, YouTube? Alright, well, I just went through a little situation on eBay, and it just got my mind thinking here, okay? So, one of the many inspirations over time in my life was to collect LP records, rock and roll, whatever. And now it's time for me to think about selling some of it. For a number of different reasons. It doesn't mean as much to me as it used to. I bought it originally as a collector type situation, so now's the time to get rid of it. Prices have gone up on a lot of the LPs that I bought substantially. So anyway, just something that probably nobody cares about, but one of the records that I ended up acquiring on eBay years ago is by a band Tool. It's the double album Anima, and don't ask me why. Side note, when that album first came out, I went to go get it on CD, and the record store didn't have the CD yet. They only had the LPs for $7, and I passed it up because I wanted the CD. This was before I started collecting, obviously, but I could kick myself. It's kind of like buying Bitcoin for 14 cents or something, I guess. I don't know. I could kick myself because that album, if you have that original sealed still, it's worth $2,000, $3,000, crazy prices. And so years ago, when I found it on eBay, it hadn't gotten to that crazy of a price. But I found one for what was a deal at the time, and I got it, and I knew there was bootlegs out there, but this one looked great. I mean, I couldn't see from the pictures. They didn't give any kind of hint that it was, BS or not legitimate or whatever. So I went for it. I was like, please, I'd love to have that, because I missed out when I should have got it for $7. I can't remember what I paid, but it was under the going rate, and that should have been, I guess, a clue to me. And really, honestly, after I started to read more about the bootlegs, I found out that there was some really good ones out there, and I thought to myself, you know what, for the price I got it, I was about 90% sure it was a bootleg. And it wasn't really until I went to sell it recently that I went to Discogs and was reading up on the details, and turns out, because I ended up opening it, it's the only way to know. Well, actually, I think it would have had the explicit lyrics sticker on the outside of the cellophane, something that I overlooked. But as far as the jacket and the inlays and, well, I didn't know about the inlays yet, but as far as the jacket, all the information was there anyway. And I got this thing and opened it up, and it's got the orange records, and I remember being so upset. I was like, I guess the right thing to do at the time, if in retrospect, if I was going to be upset about it, would have been to return it or tattletale on them to eBay or whatever. But things have gotten a lot stricter on eBay as of recently, which I didn't know was going to hit me. Because like I say, I bought this thing on eBay, and I go to sell it, and I didn't advertise it. I advertised it as an import. See, there's little keywords that, you can't use bootleg, obviously, for years now. You'd have to be a little smarter than that. But you say import, or you might say compilation, or live, or, you use some kind of a descriptor that might clue the person in that this is whatever. It's not from Columbia Records or Atlantic or whoever the hell record company. So life was good. For the longest people were selling bootlegs or copies or whatever you call it. And so I went to sell this one, and I said, hey, it's a double orange, and if you know anything, if you look it up, you find out that the double orange vinyl is regarded as the best copy that you can get, like the best illegitimate copy you can get, which we'll get into here in a minute. But anyway, so I'm thinking, well, of all this shit out there, I got the best one. And people in the comments, this is kind of where I'm going, people in the comments are saying things like, hey, if you got one, let me know. I can't afford the actual one. It's way too high price, and they're hard to find. And I really want to have this vinyl to listen to. So if anybody's got the orange bootleg, let me know, because it's the best one out there, right? As far as everything, the detail to the artwork, the sound quality, everything that they did in producing it, even though it's not legitimate, it's the best one out there. And for people who can't listen to it otherwise, that's their only choice or other choice. So that's what I'm getting to on this, is eBay shut me down. eBay sends me this notice that I've been turned in or reported by some watchdog group, and my shit's not legit, so it's coming down, and this is a warning because I might not have known, but in the future, you better, have your shit together. And so I'm like, wow, I bought this on eBay, and I didn't lie like they did. I didn't leave things out. I didn't leave out details. I said it was orange. I said it was import. I said it was quality detail edition. Stuff like that should clue you in. So on their side of it, it's like, yeah, you're basically admitting that you're selling bootleg, or you're selling. Yeah, but here's my point. There's a demand for it. There's a demand for it. There's people who want to be able to listen to this album on their LP, and it's impossible for them. Why? Because there was only a limited amount that was released in '96. There's been no reissues, and for whatever reason, the demand, the collector value, whatever, people freaked out over it. It's now too expensive for people if they can find it, and they just want to listen to the music because they're fans of the band. They like the band. So here's where I'm going with all this is, who suffers in all of this? It's your fans. Your biggest fans are the ones who are going to be looking for bootlegs, that are going to be looking for that rare stuff, that want every little drip and drop of your band that they can get. And by them having that fever and being excited about it and being able to listen to this stuff and not having the cops coming around and tell them they're bad, you don't think they're going to buy tickets to your show? You don't think they're going to play their music in their car with their friends, and when their friends are over or whatever, it's going to be all boats rise in this scenario. Okay? Look, Tool or whoever, you're not selling any more, you're not reissuing this album that everybody wants. So you're not making any money off this album. Either way, with a bootleg or without a bootleg, you're not making any money. The only thing that's happening is your fan base, the most dedicated faction of your fan base, is being targeted and excluded from being able to access the music that they want from the band that they love. It makes no sense. I mean, I wish somebody with bigger brains could explain this to the bands or the record companies or whatever, that all ships rise with bootlegs. Especially now that material music is what it is, is not what it is. Like, go buy, you want a CD? They're like 5 cents. Nobody's buying CDs. Nobody wants CDs right now. Now, that may change just because it'll be like 8 tracks or something someday where it's like, oh my gosh, you got the CD? That's crazy. Let me have, I'll pay $50 for it now. But right now, in time, CDs are shit. You probably pay more for a cassette right now than a CD for certain music. That's how crazy it is. And I think certainly more for an 8-track. But then above that is the albums. That's what's really tipped the scales on audiophiles and collectors and people who are really into music. they could give a shit about your digital file. Okay, so that's where I'm going with this. You're the record company, you're the artist, okay? And this has been the case for years. When they hear their interviews, the record companies might be making, half a cent or a fraction of a cent from whatever, Spotify or iTunes or Google Play or whatever is charging monthly for people to listen to their music, and like a fraction of a cent ends up in their pocket. So that's the record company, and maybe the artists get a fraction of that too. But that's chump change, because the real money is in the touring. All right? That's kind of how it's been for so long now. They're not selling CDs and making money that way. They're not really selling material music. It's digital. So that's how people are getting it. They're buying the album on iTunes or whatever. Or if they're really super into it, they're searching for it on vinyl. That's what I'm saying. It's a small faction, but it's your most dedicated faction. It's the people that love your music and want to hear it on the best platform that they can. And you're making it impossible for them and sort of painting them as being bad people in the process. I've never understood it. I've always loved bootleg music, because bootleg music from the bands that I love made sense to me. Those guys, I got all their singles. I got, I've been to their concerts numerous times. So whatever. I mean, everybody would know back then that this was what I was into. So the word's spreading. My buddies and I are all going to the concert, So, I mean, it makes no sense how they're approaching this and acting like Bootlegs is taking money out of the artist's pocket. It's the opposite. Absolute opposite is true. If you want to make more money and you see that there's all this demand out there, then why wouldn't you satisfy the demand by reissuing the damn LP? That's the way it makes everybody happy. The people who have the original still have the collector value, and the people who buy the reissue can listen to it on LP. And maybe it would calm down the price a little bit on the collector thing, but so what? That's not hurting you, right? You only made off that $7 that I should have bought it for originally. What was that going to mean to you, Tool and Volcano Records or BMG or whoever? What was that going to mean to you? So now the people who've had it collected, they're the ones cashing in because it's legit, but you guys aren't making any more money on it. Everything's dumb. As far as like, our interests are being, we have to serve our interests here on this and whatever. Okay, I think you get the point. Long video. Have a good day.